Thank you.
Very good. I'm gonna finish my line. Listen.
Instead of presidential.
There you go. I love doing it.
Okay. Okay, so did the action items then, I think one thing that we probably want to add on here is the pre-screening workshop.
Yes,
To run along with
Yeah.
about the same time, the applicants go out a week later, let's go ahead and do a pre-screening workshop. Can we add that?
Yeah,
we
I
agreement?
think it's a good idea.
yes.
Okay. Is there anything else to this that you might want to?
What is the bidders conference?
Oh, this is a question I don't know.
The which one?
Because they
Number
conduct a
3.
bidders conference after issuing an RFP for a project.
I don't quite understand that because, and I understand this because I know how city works and city, in order to use contractors, has to do a bidding service. But this is LTAC, and I have never heard of requiring bidders for LTAC funds. You have to get the best deal you want. You come in front of us with what your proposition is. We either say yay or nay, make our recommendations to council. They either say yay or nay. So I don't think that's accurate on here.
Well,
Could it be for facilities? If they're proposing a facility?
I'm wondering if this, because we do know, I'm pretty current. I actually read the state mandate of RFP rules. I don't ever read, I mean, I'm certain we can get clarification. I'm sure, but
A bidding what?
a bidder's conference.
Bidders conference.
You know, I think I know what this is for, and I think this goes back to the turmoil when Cinco de Mayo basically was on the table. It was a question of who was going to handle it. And so if people step forward, I know multiple parties step forward.
Oh, well, that's different.
And
that-
I think
But that's
that was
not
what
what
I
the
think.
RFP.
I thought, it could be wrong, but I remember it's a while ago when we did, they were saying like, you know, they did say something about bidding because everybody was offering different.
I
Well,
mean,
but
doesn't
your bidding is,
necessarily-
I'll do it for 25,000, my bidding is, I'll do it for
Yes,
15,000.
yeah.
Is it apples and apples? You know, there was a whole bunch of controversy there.
I bet that is exactly what it is.
That's probably why that line is in there, should be from to a situation
Yes.
like that. Again, it kind of protects us, and we have a mechanism.
So let's add the words when necessary.
Yeah.
So we don't,
Let's do that.
And it isn't even always the lowest bid that wins.
no.
It depends
Oh,
on
no.
services and things like that.
Experience. I mean, to be well.
Okay. When necessary. All right, so anything else we want to add to our actions?
And then we talked about this informally, the stay in communication with other committee members. How do you want to qualify that so that we maintain ourselves within what they call the Open Meetings Act?
You can have that at the end. Committee members following the OPMA.
Yeah,
Following.
I think that, you know, we should make sure that people know that we do follow the Open Meeting Act, but we do need to stay in communication with each other. And as long as we don't have a rolling meeting, and like Tom calls me and I call Tom, end of story, we bring it back to the committee. Or Leslie calls Amy and says, I think we should talk about this at our next meeting. And I'll bring it back to the advisor, but you can't do it like Tom calls Leslie and calls me and we call, you know.
You can't do
You-
polling,
you
basically.
can't poll, can't do polling. And that-
Oh, like,
becomes
this
a-
is how I feel about this and what do you? Well,
Yeah.
We have to take,
all same thing with email.
same thing with emails, but
Yeah.
text, it also includes text, telephone typing. So the open meeting law is very strict about those.
Yeah.
things.
I know all of my emails at some point could be audited because of using it way back when you didn't know you couldn't use it, but it was in process and nobody told us. So that's fine. You can get my email all you want, find anything
Well,
interesting,
that
let me
would
know.
be- that would
I had
be-
an interesting life sometime,
Yes.
but that's very,
Yeah.
very
So-
important
so
to know.
that's
They
something-
can't.
Yeah, so you should be aware of that.
Your Facebook, your email, your
No,
in-depth
I
business.
do have a question. As far as, because I watched the video, I've made sure to be done just because with us having events, of course, like we discuss things, but it's never about RFPs or anything like that. Basically, it was about the four-wheeler,
that we discussed at the one meeting.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
But that was actually a follow-up.
That was just-
Yeah, that was just, that's you conducting your business.
Yeah.
Really,
No, that has
do whatever you
nothing to
want.
do with LTAC funds.
Separate, yeah.
It's
About
us.
this, that.
Yeah, we're
That's
talking
about the
about.
only time, you know.
No, you have to conduct your business and find your four-wheelers and
So like,
find
I can how like
generators.
business to me and then they're like, do you know? So then I always follow up or I send you a text or an email and I say, hey, this person's gonna reach out. I talk to them about, mine or I found, because I also sent her like, hey, I found this vendor. They're interested for a Christmas parade and then, or I pick up a
Sharing
card.
information is a
Yeah.
different thing.
Yeah.
than-
That's
you
not
know,
a
did
meeting.
It's
it-
a little hard having two big events in Sunnyside and not.
Because then I know she's
Yeah.
gotten people where they're like, oh, we want to do Cinco, so she sends me the info.
And remember the hat you're wearing. If you're wearing the Mayo hat, that's different than
Yes.
LTAC hat.
Yeah.
LTAC hat can't talk to LTAC hat, can't talk, but Cinco de Mayo can talk to.
Yeah.
It's,
Why did
But if you do want to request a meeting or do something like that, then you send it to the city.
you
Yeah.
send it to Jackie and then Jackie will get a hold of all of us to see when is a good day. And maybe it's an agenda item you'd like to see, send that to Jackie.
Yeah.
I invited Elizabeth for lunch, I sent it via the city email.
Seems fine.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how I do it.
she's sitting right here. Okay, so anything else that did we do? With that necessary there. for the
Yeah.
Communication plan. Okay,
Establish a rolling 5-year funding plan, to be updated, so I.
have we done
No, that was
that?
the other question.
Maybe that's something.
Yeah, that's something that we just need, I mean, it's all based on what the taxes bring in every year, isn't it? Is that, I mean, or do we need to have a?
Well,
This is about the strategic again.
Okay.
And just to throw it out there, again, we talked about the pandemic and how that devastated the LTAC monies quite a bit. So if we want to have maybe is it a 5-year, if you can look at what the past 5 years is and then kind of estimate what the next 5 years, but you don't know, it's weather even.
I think like 2 is good. But not.
you can put 5 out there,
We
but
can
it's
put
not
5
worth the
out there.
paper it's written on, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's an issue, I think.
Because you could have another hotel added, you could have a hotel lead,
Mhm.
you could have other contributing entities. And then there's something I'm gonna throw out, which is not LTAC, but it's something I really think Sunnyside should do, and that we should establish a TPA,
TPA.
a tourism promotion area. It is funds specifically available for marketing, and you have to get, let's say it's 2/3 of the hotel rooms to petition the city to establish a tourism promotion area. Then you run through the State Department of Revenue, and you charge $1 a night, $2 a night. Basically, it's added on to the bill. It's transparent to the guest because you can say it's taxes. And if you go someplace like New York City, your hotel is $250, but your actual bill on a nightly basis is $300 because you've got all kinds of TPA. And
Now Vegas was.
Vegas, yeah, Vegas.
Yeah,
they
buy a
charge you.
newspaper every day.
But we can do that. I tried to do that a couple of years ago when Francisco was
There.
and we just, the issue was getting the owner of the, what is it? Yeah, what's the roadway? I'm not sure what it is.
Oh, Fairfield.
Okay, whatever, getting them to agree. We don't know if we necessarily need to do that now. If I don't go to the hotel room. Because I know,
If we do months and you won't have money and you'll have.
I'll have a 2/3 myself. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so we can do it, we can push it through, and that would generate additional funds for this group to spend
Yeah.
specifically for advertising and marketing.
Mhm.
But that frees up LTAC monies, which are going to that, it can be used for other things.
It's brilliant. I mean, we've
Yeah.
needed to do that for a long
I
time.
think that's really significant.
We've talked about this for a long time. You a lot longer than me, but
Maybe now's the time to do it.
now's the time to
I
do
Well,
it.
especially if you say, give me two, how many hotel rooms do we have? Because I think it's 2/3. So.
I don't know how many we have actually, but really honestly, the plan is to shut the other. I don't know if we.
So we know.
I mean, honestly, that it's a it's a triangle of
It's a safety
Mhm.
issue.
Nuisance properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
70
Well-
calls
So
per
I'm
service
just,
is a nuisance property.
we've talked to, and council knows this, they've directed me. So this is something that is going to happen and we're gonna
Just the report.
basically revoke their license.
Okay, well,
I
and
mean, it'll help us. For majority of time, actually, they're at.
but that's something, even if you don't shut them down, it's that buy-in, probably from the travel lodge owner to sign on, and then we can go forward.
The travel lodge owner, basically, our police chief went in and talked to the manager and said, you know, I'd like to have you start trespassing these individuals when they come. And so she was gonna start doing that. And the next day she got a call, or he called, she got a call to him and said, the owners won't let me do it.
Well,
So they're not, they aren't helping the city at all. They aren't,
Yeah.
Working
yes,
together.
yeah, they don't want to clean up their road, they want the money.
they're only
Yeah.
interested in their dollar.
So,
Okay, well,
so establishing,
how do we go about establishing them? Do we
Should
have to
that-
take that to the city?
It's
to
a
ask for it?
petition
Okay.
that is signed by I believe it's 2/3
Okay.
of the hotel rooms in the city.
okay,
And you take that petition to the city and the city presents it to the state, they stamps it. Says you may start collecting as of this date. And you send the money in, I send the money in when I do my excise tax, return, and it comes back to the city a couple months later.
yeah,
Well, I think I really like the idea of being able to fund some marketing, because I think that's an area where we're kind
yeah.
of
Weak, a little weak.
we're kind of weak then. Absolutely. If this could help us with some marketing.
Well, we
funds.
have, half of our vault full of the brochures for Sunnyside that I don't know.
Have they never gone?
I don't know where they're supposed to go. Do you know where they're supposed to?
They're just whoever wants to pick them up.
We have
But now
places
the
in-
problem is that they're
They're outdated.
outdated.
Well, now they're recyclable.
What do you want to do with them? Put them out there anyways?
How long ago was it actually? Was it printed?
2020.
So
And it's that much outdated.
It's
There's-
not horrible,
No,
but it's
there's
just,
just, there's some that are closed
Yeah.
and that's kind of the biggest.
and then they missed one of our parks.
Yeah,
Put it 20,
So
yeah.
information is missing.
yeah. I can still go. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say. I don't know, you guys are the ones that have, you know,
Because we hand them out
yeah,
and people will take them, they will use them.
Sometimes it's really cool when you find them in your room, when you go to a hotel, and they're in a room there, you know, with the other things.
We have a gift bag that we give out to every guest that comes.
Mhm.
Do you have brochures to give out?
Well, maybe if we dig into this top line here,
Yeah.
that will segue into what to do with these brochures,
yeah.
Okay, the top line is establish priority areas of concern,
right?
encourage applicants to come up with creative approaches.
As far as the action items, so for LTAC, I don't know if it covers it anywhere, on here, but I guess where it says creation of tourism master plan, but something where we're looking at marketing for Sunnyside, like we're reviewing it, just like the website, Come to the Sun and things like that. Is that something that should be in here for us, for LTAC to do annually? Or is it covered under something else that I'm just not?
I have a suggestion, and it's something that we kind of dabbled in it when we had Yakima Valley Tourism doing this for us. If you have somebody who manages, or I don't want to use the word manage, but somebody who directs your tourism focus, and that person has the responsibility for making sure the website is up to date, making sure that, you know, coordinating with the event managers, because that they're not going to put the events on. They may publicize them. I'll give you an example. In Union Gap, we have a company called Grant Hunt. Grant Hunt is they're a PR company, but the guy who is the face of Grant Hunt to us, he is the Northwest Cherry guy. So he's deeply involved in agriculture, but he represents the city of Union Gap. And he does Twitter work, he does all kinds of social media work, coordinates with the Yakima Valley Tourism for the advertising, whether it's print advertising or it's website advertising. It would be something that puts the responsibility for managing tourism on one entity. Right now, there isn't anybody doing it here. And you have something to manage. I think we need to focus on what we have and then focus on what we can do to make it better. But if you have somebody who's actually managing it, this is something that the chamber could have done. We don't have a chamber. That's okay. Let's put tourism strictly on a tourism responsible individual. And
I think I absolutely agree with that, and that is kind of something that the council has been looking at. And maybe can you help describe that a little bit more?
We were,
The position.
yeah, we were looking at trying to fund a media coordinator basically. And that would be somebody that was, we could tie into that same thing. They would be somebody that specializes in communication, that can manage the website, can do the Come to the Sun, coordinate all of this stuff for press releases and, and advertising and all of that. And that's something that we want to put in our budget request. So that's going to be an actual.
And that particular person, when we talked about at our last meeting, we talked about maybe, is that only a part-time job?
It is now, it won't always
It
be.
won't be, because that person who's doing this communication stuff has also got a whole ream of other responsibilities that just have to do with city information, whether it's park and rec, whether it's police department alerts, all this other stuff. The other part of that job then becomes tourism related, in as much as the web, Come to the Sun, the Twitter accounts, the marketing, all of those things. That's why this tourism promotion area would really be a benefit to that department as well.
it's a way to fund it.
It's a way to fund it.
We talked about two ways of funding it. One was just dealing with who we have now, we created the Come to the Sun. And perhaps doing that first, because she's gonna come back to us with an estimate, and it would be, say, $70,000, I think she was saying. That would certainly be cheaper now than any employee, no matter what the pay scale, I think even the most basic pay. But is that being short-sighted and not doing it now when we're hoping that this really takes off and goes?
I want to go with the optimistic view that it is going to. And I know that the council is very, I shouldn't speak for all of them, I should speak for myself. But in favor of the idea, we need to have a communications person, bottom line. How we fund that person is going to be, up to the city, but if we could use some of the tourism promotion monies to also fund just strictly tourism things.
And then you get in, that's, I think, my biggest concern that I would ever have. I would have to have that be a top dollar, because I come from government. I retired from government. I have never, general fund, LTAC fund. They always, sorry, but never wanted to come out of general fund, wanted to come out of LTAC fund. And we need to make sure that what we are hiring this person for actually happens, so that the position is justified, is what I'm saying.
Well, I think-
that we're not giving away all the money and paying for her or him, absolutely, in paying for the position. But very well be.
It could be.
And I just want to make sure that, we're not going to be paying $40,000 a year for somebody's salary, and we're only getting $10,000 worth of use.
So you bring up an extremely good point. That is, you have to make sure there's no conflict of interest. There's very clear lines.
Yes.
of Reporting and authority. And that's difficult, not impossible, but it's difficult if you have one person wearing multiple hats. Because they would answer to you sometimes, and they would answer to this group sometimes. And when do they answer?
And actually, the way I would see that being modeled is they would actually answer first and foremost to LTAC. I think that would be we would make that a priority. And then other duties as assigned would be stuff that falls under, and maybe what we call it is a tourism/media coordinator.
How much money are you looking for?
I don't think that we actually.
We haven't even gotten.
We,
down
we,
to all this
we,
yet.
we haven't got down, we're just trying to get the idea out there, that this is something necessary to have. We haven't even spoke about money yet. But I can
Do you
see,
understand, what, number
No,
one,
no,
anybody who works
no.
in government understands the
Understand.
conflict on any grant, title money, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
And so
I
that's just,
I understand that, I got paid through a lot of different funds, through when I worked, crisis and you had to be very, very careful how you spent your dollar. So I understand.
and,
And,
so, but we just don't want to spend all the money on a salary that we need
Oh,
for
no.
advertising.
This
Again,
is a marketing thing.
Yeah.
And marketing is expensive.
it costs money, it does cost money, and,
Okay.
that's for sure.
But I do think, that we should keep that in mind as we move forward.
I think you could probably see about $60,000.
Could we?
I
I mean, that's a
think you
good,
could without.
I think that's a good budget number.
Too
to
much
start with.
different. See that,
You know?
$2 per.
Mhm.
And people don't even pay attention.
No, it's transparent.
They don't
It's
even.
there. Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've got a couple of exciting things that are going,
That is,
and those are things to add to our, so establishment, maybe number 3, this new one, establishment then of the tourism promotion area. But that should be one of our action items. How we, I think about as far as personnel for that. Do we need to do that now, or do we need to wait and see?
I think.
Or
it's-
should we define what we want to use the tourism dollars, those particular tourism dollars, marketing numbers for? Is that like a little dot underneath that?
well, that was the thing, we have to come to the same resource available this 1 year, but it depends on how fast, I guess you guys can get going. Would be the answer to
Well,
that.
see, we're talking about this year's coming 2023. So we have, you know, we're in talks on it. I mean, it's been pushed around.
2023. But we kind of need this website maintained now.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Did
well,
they
It's
ever
still
come back to us?
maintained.
I have,
Not
I
yet.
don't know. if we-
It's
It's
gonna
maintained until the
stop.
end of the year,
Yeah.
and then by then we'll know if we're getting someone or not.
It
And then
wouldn't
you
be-
can make a decision
Yeah.
on the funding in January. You have the ability to
Yeah.
meet again and
We
make
can
a
meet.
recommendation.
Yeah,
Okay, so we
So
can
we
still
could
do
meet-
that. That was my other question.
Yeah.
We can still do that on the RFP.
I don't think it's fair, though, to ask, Yakima to wait for our decision until,
I don't think we are though. I think we're not really waiting on a decision. Don't we already have asked what we've asked for?
You might find them.
till the end of the year.
You might find them wanting to bid on. They did once before.
Well, see, that's if necessary, they could.
So you have the internal candidate, you can have a third party manager for you
Right.
too.
Right.
As long
Which
as
is what
they're
we've got
qualified
now
and
as a
do the
third
work.
party.
But you wanted to move to an employee, which I understand.
Well, I think it's because it's the control issue. I feel like there's a huge, maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's a huge lack of, there's a void here between tourism and Yakima folks and what we need to have done. And I kind of would like to see us have more local control over it.
Well, there's things missing. They're not printing out
Exactly.
the
That's
flyers, they're
right.
not, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Even paying the money, there's
That void,
gaps.
that huge void of things that we're not getting.
A brochure of where the restaurants are, where the tourism
The
is.
restaurants are
Yes,
in the working rooms.
Yeah.
You know, that's something.
Well, they updated it.
What complaints that they're locked?
that they don't have them available.
But we know why.
broken.
I just wanna bring it up again. I think that's another story.
But you know, that we also have checked out. the restaurant they're having.
I did know that. It's-
Just a FYI,
Okay,
somebody just lodged a complaint that they requested a grand opening and were denied, and it wasn't available at city level. Martin could get you the name of the business, but they came here. and- But again, who did they ask? They said they called the city number, and they were told that, I'm thinking you.
I would have never denied them. That's not me for me to
So-
deny. I just invite everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
And I
Oh.
don't mind.
Well, if we have the name of the
so
group,
it'd be nice to track
Maybe
this one down,
they're-
because it just happened. Be nice to track it
Was
down.
it the ice cream?
No, Martin's working with them. I think they're gonna have them. I wanna say, gosh, I'm so bad, sorry.
Maybe it was planning department because maybe they didn't pass
It-
their
Oh.
inspections,
That's what I would do.
but they were in a,
If Martin was here, I'd ask
Yeah.
him right now, and he'd tell you. It could even be the grocery store, put it that way.
they had a ribbon. cutting.
They had
They had
okay,
a
yeah.
meeting. I was there.
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly who it is, Harbor Freight. Got it, but Harbor Freight. It just happened, Harbor Freight. And he said he called, the manager said he called the city person. Didn't call me.
Does it narrow it down enough? I think.
And he said the clerk
Might
or
be worth
whatever.
a call
That's
back.
why.
more than
I know.
Somebody will track that. down.
Yeah.
Because we have something to track it down, another business that's unhappy.
Are we
Okay, I will.
scheduling another meeting to establish priority areas of concern? Is that the action items? So, okay, well, that's what I didn't
Because
know.
this is going on our,
It's going on our, yeah, but I'd really like to do a little bit at least of
Mhm.
the tourism master plan and priority areas of concern.
Okay.
At least to get some ideas and to hear some ideas.
for a master plan.
And areas of concern, priority areas of concern. And I'll just give us something to think about. And this kind of came up with the application for the fence by the museum.
Mhm.
They want to put a fence up to fence tractors that they have that at some point could be put in display
I see.
condition.
Yeah.
And what that does is it puts them in conflict with the Central Washington Agricultural Museum, which does that already. And my suggestion to them is to send your tractors to them and do something that only Sunnyside
Well, you're
does.
gonna just talk to Greg Schley.
Well, I can talk to Greg Schley. He started
Pathway one.
so why did that die?
I don't
it's
know.
his help.
Yeah, it's entirely his project.
But
So,
he's not, he has to pass that on to somebody else. It's one of those things that's gonna outlive him.
right,
Just like you're not gonna be the director of the light farm implement parade forever. You're gonna have to pass that on to somebody else. Otherwise it will die. And I don't think people want that. There's facilities here that can be developed more and more and more. And they're unique to Sunnyside. And
And
when
maybe
they,
we don't need to have so many of those tractors. Maybe we just need small sampling.
well, we just landscaped and did all that gravel and did all that for that project, so.
Over here at the museum.
No, the fence is not gonna happen, so I'm just gonna tell you guys, we got into the mapping software yesterday, and the fence would have to go right down the middle of the museum, because we don't own any property to the north, or to the
East.
The city does?
no,
The
it's all
railroad.
the railroad owns it, and we're,
Oh,
our
that's-
museum's built on the railroad.
Yeah.
So we'd have to talk to.
Why do you want, I understand do what's unique to Sunnyside, but why do we have to cut anything out to further promote what's unique to Sunnyside?
let me just give you this
We
one.
are cutting down.
Here's a thought. When you are in competition for tourism dollars and people have a choice, weekend rolls around, I want to go do something. Oh, we can go to Lake Chelan, or we can go to Potholes, or I mean, there's a lot of different places you can go. But when you are in competition with all these other tourism locations, you're going to do much better when you have something no one else has.
Yeah, that's true.
Than when you have something everybody else has. Well, I can see a museum in Sunnyside, but I can go see a museum in Prospect, I can see a museum in Roslyn, I can see a museum in lots of different places. If we focus on doing things that are unique to us, it makes us stand out. And you want that. It doesn't mean everybody's going to choose you.
Now,
but
how
at
do we
least-
do that at LTAC? I know you were talking about Bonnie Dunbar. How do we do that? We're LTAC approving funding. We're not,
We have to plant seeds. And we have,
That's what we've been talking
that's
about.
exactly what, how do we do
And
this?
it's like with this pre-screening thing, how people come.
And the
No,
workshop.
no ideas too outrageous. Let's just talk about
Mhm.
things that we could use to promote tourism in our town. Finishing off Yellowstone Trail, getting a car club to show antique cars there once a year.
And I have a meeting with Rocio and Jesus next Friday. To talk
So-
about what we're gonna do with it, just so you guys know.
But just for, that's just an example, that's one.
Because they bought the other little piece of pipe, the old, one of the old police department.
Oh,
state
yeah,
patrol.
state patrol.
They
officer.
finally bought that, so now they own the entire corner.
Wow,
And they want us to do something with the Stone Trail, but they just,
it does. I drove past there today and I was following the signs as I was coming and going. When we're done, what does that mean? Anyway, planting the seeds.
I'm just
Planning
gonna
the
throw some ideas out for you guys to throw them right back at. But these
Okay.
are just thoughts. Things that Sunnyside is unique. Sunnyside is unique. Well, they might. Yeah, no, there's communities that are trying to steal it. But you're in first place. Let's keep that and let's distance them by doing things that they're not doing. That's reenactments. It's other, it's blow the event up so that it has so many different facets that people say we can never catch them. And they leave it alone. How many people are trying to do tree lighting? Not very many, because Leavenworth has cornered that. Take a look at some of the other things that Sunnyside is unique in. Sunnyside is unique. The first crop to come out of the field, what is it?
Asparagus.
And we've got it. So we should have an asparagus festival of some
they
kind.
do.
They do.
But it's so tiny.
Right,
It's
and
so
you
tiny.
blow it up by saying, here's a cooking, competition, and you bring people in out of the area, and
What's your
People
best
get excited.
asparagus recipe?
so
far, I haven't seen.
Sunnyside also has something which is fairly unique. It's not completely unique because Al Granger has some of it, but other communities in the valley do not have dairy. Sunnyside has dairy. Well, dairy is cheese and butter and milk and ice cream, which is a big deal. A lot of people find that very, very popular, very enticing. You have to figure out ways, and you can get all the dairy farmers, they'll get on board with this. This is PR for them.
And the big deal is, we used to always do like the tours, dairy.
The
tours.
dairy tour,
The
yeah.
dairy tours. Can't do those anymore. They're scared to death to have public on their property. because
Yeah.
That's how they got into a lot of. People
Oh, shucks.
didn't understand what dairies are, and then they pinpoint that.
They just
particular
want
thing.
everything that the dairy produces. They don't.
They don't wanna know where it comes from, really.
I have to wash their hands afterwards.
Or
anything
something,
like
but in
that.
any case, be that as it may, Dairy Month still needs to be a big deal in Yakima Valley and Sunnyside, because we have the most dairies per person. I mean, we had a
Per
dairy
capita.
for everybody
Yeah.
who lives here.
So take advantage of that. Final idea, this one might get me kicked out of this meeting, but I think Sunnyside has the highest per capita population of Hispanics of any community. Celebrate that.
Yeah, we
Turn
wanted
this
to do a
community-
big mural, it's a girl in the big fancy dress, kind of like the dress that the
The
girl.
girl made out of
Yes.
that.
But I'm gonna go one step further, and this, like I said, definitely pick that at some meetings. Change the architecture of downtown to reflect that, and that takes time.
That takes time, but it's a.
That's a great idea because we do not have a presence. Grandview downtown,
Yeah.
it has improved so much.
So what,
And
So
Okay.
can I tell you guys kind of so I've obviously worked in Prosser, Grandview, Sunnyside and Topper, so I've worked in all 4 cities. Grandview, when they did their downtown, they set design standards. And you can only paint your businesses certain colors. You have to go to Ace and take the book and show them the color you want to paint. If you painted, like we came back over the weekend one time and someone had painted a city-owned building that they were renting yellow, like not yellow, it was yellow. And so they were required to repaint.
Yeah.
They got a violation and they were required to repaint. The other part that I'm gonna say is when I was a part of the design team for the downtown, the women designed it. It's aesthetically pleasing. Here, sorry, but the men designed it. And I'm not trying to,
I'm not taking any offense.
I'm not trying to be,
It is what it is.
not sexist, but when we saw what was being done in this downtown, they did not take into fact that you need to have planters with beautiful flowers coming out. They picked landscape that
It-
wasn't,
We picked boxwood that doesn't even grow well here.
And we could make that unique to Hispanic culture because we are in a climate that could support it. We could plant cactuses and yuccas and really, I mean, that's an inexpensive way to promote what we are for. And I'm an immigrant and I'm not offended.
If you had, you sit here, we're celebrating agriculture, I think you would eliminate a lot of the polarization that exists in this community. And you want to talk about something which is bigger than tourism, bring the community's heart together so they're not fighting with each other. That's huge.
you know, and one of the other things that we could have, we could get all the Mexican restaurants together and say, come have a tour of Mexico. And we have so many Mexican restaurants in this town, and have them do their one signature dish, and it's, when you do the tour, you pay
A
so much.
smaller amount, but you
Yeah.
just get the signature
Yeah.
dish.
And you only get the signature
It's
dish.
called Taste of Tacoma,
Yeah,
Taste of Sunnyside.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe we could do something like that, where we, you know, have, and that would really bring people in, because honestly, they like to eat. And then, you know, have them stop at Bridal and have a beer and.
So you're right on it, which is that people like food.
Mhm.
And if you do things that have food associated with them, people will come.
Yep,
You have to be good food.
right.
And it has to be reasonable. It can't be $10 a little bite, but it's,
No, but you could say, like, you know, they're doing it like an appetizer or something, so anyway, you're not making a full meal deal.
then you need a place to hold it, outdoors and indoors.
And we have those locations.
How big a crowd can you handle and where do you send them? You send them to, there's a park by the community center here. Would you send them to Sunnyview Park between Grandview and Sunnyside? Where would you send them? Because if you had a 2,000 person event, where would you send them?
2,000 people.
Not
Maybe it's
inconceivable.
not inconceivable.
Boston used to have 3,500 people at their wine.
The
and food
wine
fair.
and food fair. I would send to South Shore Park, or not South Shore Park, I would send that to Sunnyview, because it's halfway between Grandview and Sunnyside. And I think that would be, there's separate parking issue, but maybe we can figure that out. I think that would be the best place to have a taste of something. We could have music up there,
Mhm.
we could have the food out there,
Well, and we're finalizing the purchase of Tucker Cellars, so we'll have
so
additional.
we'll have
property there.
additional property there. That is so, oh man, that's
So we
a
just-
really cool thing.
Are encouraging people then to do.
And
like,
that's
who
the
we
problem.
encourage
And
people
that-
to do this?
Maybe even putting something in the
Well, and
newspaper.
the other part,
Maybe
Well,
in
look
the
at the-
what I was thinking is, we would have it be tour of Sunnyside and they would go to the.
Mhm.
And
We
on
could
their
do
own.
On
Look,
their
if they,
own,
if they
yes.
come and they taste something at the big event, if that was good, I'm going back to that place.
Yeah.
It's up to the restaurant too.
You know,
It's
for
about,
advertise.
it's about talking the restaurants though into it though, because it's a lot for them to go off site to do. A lot of
They
that.
could do it at their
Well,
own
Some of
site.
them,
Some of them, most all of those little guys, they were caterers, and food trucks.
some of them, yeah.
Yeah, some of them are caterers, some of them have food trucks. I know that, you know, when we did the Portage Lot, I had 3 food trucks there. One was strictly to tortillas, I think, no, not tortillas, tacos. And then we had one that was something else and something else. But anyway, they were super busy the whole time. We had them inside the 4th of July. And it was really great. They were the busiest people there. And, you know, I think that I really do like the idea of a taste of Sunnyside and make it and if we do a tour of the Spanish restaurants, all the restaurants could be involved. You just have to be, you know, they could all
Promote what you need. Just
we have, why do you even know?
You try to volunteers, Johnny, and but
Can I make a suggestion?
where are you gonna get the people to do
You
all
need
this
to
stuff?
find somebody who we have what's called an alignment.
Right.
And we have an alignment of interest with people. We want people brought to the community, the dairy farm.
The person who
Right,
coordinated it.
so keep digging. How involved is FFA at the high school? Are they dairy focused? Are they, I mean,
Oh, that's it.
how involved are they? Because
We got a new advisor this year, so it could be kind of a startup program, but that's a good place to.
That
and
is
you
a good
have,
tool.
you have a business, I assume, professor of some sort at the high school.
They have a couple of
Who
different.
could help
businesses.
somebody put together a business plan? I mean, it's
They have a
gonna take a
sports
collaboration.
Marketing, the sports marketing.
Okay, but not business marketing per se.
No.
Because sports marketing is not
Sports.
bad. Sunnyside
As
is
sports.
really good at wrestling.
Yeah.
We love our sports in this town.
And wrestling is indoor, bring the little guy tournaments in here in
Oh, I-
January and February. Those are indoor, those generate out of town states.
No,
They're
they-
perfect.
They generate a lot, because we sit there, we have, my son's wrestling, so he had his first last year, so we get there at 7 in the morning, that's what time we have to weigh in. We don't leave till 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
so we're
And
there.
they trap you there, you can't leave.
Yeah, and so they
You
do
never know.
what a lot of kids they like my son knows, it's called Kona Ice. They're from Pasco, or Tri-Cities area. My son knows, like, ooh, right, once I get done with my matches, I get to go get them. Like they know,
Once they.
they
win,
had, like a person, like they had like, pizzas already bought. So they were selling them there, so you didn't have to go places. The club was doing the fundraisers, there was somebody there making shirts, so I know the Hanford tournament that we go to. I paid, I think it was like $10, and he got a shirt. And then you go get your medal, and then you pay your $10 for a shirt, and then it says like Hanford, I don't know what it's called, the tournament, but they're huge, and especially for the parents that have, kids in different age, like I have nieces and nephew, they're wrestling, so that's why we stay till 9 o'clock. There is those parents that they only have one kid, and they get put out the first hour or two, so then, but there is, those people, like, we're there all day.
Do you think those mothers might volunteer to do some
So
work on those days?
the club that we're in, they did do one, it is a lot of work.
None of this is-
And
None of this is easy.
yeah, and it's the brackets, you have to have somebody that knows how to do the bracket. And then I know the mats is another thing, so they would have to rent it through the school, because the school has the mats, but then the school has their own sports that are going on the
And we
weekend.
have mats at the community center.
Yeah, but here's your alignment of interest, because who else is involved in wrestling? Find somebody who's deeply involved in wrestling. Wouldn't you like to have some of this here rather than traveling here, there and everywhere? And put on a couple of meets.
Yeah, there's one in Topping, every town I think, but Sunnyside has. And it just depends which one, I mean, this is
How
our
far do they
first.
draw from? Are they pretty local or are they?
No, you can go, so like our club sticks local, because our coach is the Sunnyside coach as well. So we don't go very far, but the other clubs there is, you can go to like the Seattle area, Spokane area.
Outside of 50 miles.
Yes, USA wrestling, if you do a USA tournament, that one, you can go to Vegas, you can go to like different
Definitely an overnight there.
areas, so like, they wanna
It's
take-
really good.
yeah, like my son's uncle already said, he's like, I wanna take, Andrew to Vegas to wrestle on this, So it just depends on what tournament, because there's little guy, and then there's like USA, and then there's something else, I'm barely getting to know the different.
And you guys should know too, that we have, Mary, who's our new rec coordinator, or rec
And she's
supervisor.
pretty good.
She's lived here most of her life, I imagine, and she has 4 kids that are all in sports. And she's local, and really honestly, she brought in a big thing for me and showed me the state of our parks right now. They don't look good. So I basically directed staff to hire landscapers and get them cleaned up, and she met with the school district. They want to have a 5K run at Southfield Park. And so she's really working on getting more sports and trying to work with the school. They want to do a 3-on-3 tournament. She's got a a harvest festival she's trying to do, where it's kind of like the old St. Joe's festival that they used to do, where it's booths inside and people kind of do games and stuff for the kids. So she's got a lot of really good plans that I think ties into
What we're doing
some of
here.
what you guys are doing. But I hate to say this about our city, but we have had a lack of commitment on staff. And pride. And I'm trying to get people to understand that this, if you want to work here, you need to do a good job.
You can't just,
You can't just come to work to collect a paycheck.
No.
You need to come to work and be prepared to work. You need to come to work and do a good job. Don't walk by the piece of paper on the floor in the parking lot and put it up. And that's what I think is happening and has happened. And then we've had a lack of planning. As a city. We bought the Munson property 20 years ago and it sat there for
and
20
it's
years.
still sitting there.
Well, no, I got plans for it.
China.
I got plans for it. I got two things going on here.
I think we should
but-
turn it into a wetland. No. we
But-
can't pay money for that.
But that's the other part of it. I think, the city, we're putting a Band-Aid on stuff all the time instead of forward thinking. And saying,
And that's what we're.
if
trying
we're
to
gonna do something, we need to think, and I know you guys don't want to really do a 5-year plan, but we need to say, okay, this is what we want to achieve in 2023. We want to see.
We need to do a 5-year.
No,
Not with the money, but with the
money,
vision.
it's
Yeah,
necessary.
the vision.
But a 5-year plan and how the LTAC money can create more heads and beds,
Yeah.
that's
That's
our
that's
goal.
what that's when we started this whole meeting, because I didn't know when we were part of something, it's just giving, I mean, I know that
The
like
same
the
money
parade
every year.
gets money and that's wonderful, but it's
We don't
giving out
want-
to the stuff that is just hard. I'd like to have a vision. Because we
What
need
we-
way more for
And I think here's one of the things where we're sitting here and talking about these different ideas. Talking, maybe what LTAC needs to do as a community. We need to send out the word that we're looking for fresh ideas.
Yeah.
We've got the signature events. We've got, they have to comply with, there's some guidelines. But we are looking for fresh ideas to how to brand Sunnyside.
And give some suggestions and
Well, we could,
soliciting.
we could do that, but we have to let the public know that what you're bringing us is not necessarily satisfactory. We've got maybe 4 events, and one is only once every 4 years. With the swim championships. So we need to let the community know that we want to see a real big asparagus festival. We want to see something that celebrates dairy. We want to see something that celebrates our Hispanic community. And Cinco de Mayo is not the only thing that celebrates the Hispanic community. And I get tired of hearing, I'm not gonna go downtown during Cinco de Mayo. That's the first place I had for it. It's the best place to have tacos.
It is street tacos.
Street.
When we put this, but I would say when we put this out there for people, that was one of my questions, like who's going to organize it? Because that's where it gets kind of scary. Is people coming forward that
I have no idea what. this
Yeah,
is.
it's not.
See, it's not easy to put together a plan like that, but
And who's
maybe,
gonna
maybe,
stick with it?
maybe there is somebody out there that we haven't tapped.
Cause they gotta be able to work with the city, be able to make the right decision and
These are all
have the
things,
best
these are,
interest.
but these are all things that we have to educate them about. And I think that when we were talking about, what was that new one that we added, something, ed.
Edutainment.
That's a hard one.
Word for the day.
Yeah, that's a word.
That could be us. We
We,
could be the coordinators and helping them. We're talking about having that.
we just want to give people in our
We can answer
community
questions.
an opportunity to say, what do you want our town to look like? We're cleaning up the parks, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. What do you want?
We want you to
Christine.
have pride. We want you to have things
And
to
I
do.
think every commission that's involved with the city, and obviously those other entities that are, and yourself, that play into this. We want people to come here, obviously. We want our people who live here to have pride and invite their families to come. You know, and put them up at the local hotel and whatnot. Because I don't want them staying in my house. That means I gotta take care of them and I don't know how else to cook. And I heard your breakfasts out there are the best in town. I
We're
heard that.
trying.
I heard that from somebody that I didn't even know, went out there to just eat on regular.
No, didn't you?
We can come and eat it
taco
with us.
once?
We had Taco World, we tried to get that going,
Okay.
and we had it for a couple of years, and it's kind of,
Well,
and part of the reason I think was the fellow who was organizing it was really focused on how good a job he was doing with social media,
yeah.
and not necessarily trying to bring people from out of the area, because he had people come, but they're all
Was
local.
that the taco house?
Yeah.
And he tried to do it this last year. I don't know if he did it, but someone approached me about doing taco wars at my house. I said, sure,
Uh-huh.
you know, but
I think they're doing it this year, at Varietal.
are they?
It's an event that shouldn't be on the hotel's ground, it should be on public,
Mm-hmm.
Central Park.
much bigger.
Much
event.
bigger now.
How come we don't even have yard of the month?
We are talking about bringing it.
That's something we're talking
Because
about.
that's just something so simple to take pride in, and if we are digging people, which I know, we're finally holding people accountable for their yards and their everything. But if you're holding people accountable, you also have to encourage it at the same time, and that would be wonderful.
Well,
to
we're
do
looking
that.
at it too.
Okay, good.
We are.
So just to,
Let's,
and I
it's a
think,
way to wrap this up at some point.
I think we're at a good point.
let me just make one final comment. If you say, come one, come all, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're gonna get some things that you're not necessarily gonna want. And,
That's what we have to try.
well, yeah, but it can be really nasty, because, I don't know how many of you remember what is it called, the hill chart or whatever it is out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, my
Well,
dad was in charge of that.
Well, he came to us year after year after year looking for huge dollars, $25,000, $50,000. You know how many people are thinking of bringing blah, 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 you know what? It doesn't. They stay out there. They don't even provide lodging tax.
RVs out there and run up and down the hill.
But the idea is that the name of Sunnyside is splashed all over the place. So all I'm saying is there's a bit of bumpiness that we will go through.
And I think
Dealing
that
with
we,
this.
and I think you're absolutely right, but if we're to do something to expand, to bring, new ideas to the table, we have to expect that there's gonna be bumps along the way as we make our way forward. And I
You
think
said-
we just have to be prepared for that.
You said Greg Schlieve is backing away from
I
the,
don't know that he's backing away, but I know that this past year he's had some health issues.
because Jim Restucci was pretty excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
at the time.
And I believe he still is.
So.
Are you gonna need an extension cord? Do you have enough
Hi.
time?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I was like, what's in my car? Uncharged or something? But I don't have an electric vehicle. I have 2 hours still.
And Martin, can I ask you a question?
Thank
Who called you from Harbor Freight, and do you know who they talked to at the city?
Sherry Boo was the one who let us know,
Okay.
and I
I
didn't
know.
know
But
that.
she didn't know for sure, because she's going,
No,
she's not-
I spoke to her later that day.
Oh.
She knew for sure it had been turned down. But we aren't
but she couldn't
100%,
tell us
we don't know who it
talked
was.
to who or anything, and I told her that wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
Then it
because
happened.
the two people that would normally field those calls are here right now.
Exactly.
Neither one of us.
And that's what I told her.
Yeah.
so
But it
I don't-
happened.
Normally, if they get a hold of me, I send an email to
To
Jackie and then.
Unless Miss
Yeah.
Sunnyside said no.
No, she said they called the city.
And she's not sure, because she's not,
The
She
caller.
was not the
She was
contact.
not.
This is
It
not-
was there, and it was the manager.
Yes. I think it's more than that.
I think it's.
But there
down
is
the rabbit hole.
There's
Maybe we just need
sometimes
to reach out.
where people, they do call like Miss Sunnyside, they'll see Miss Sunnyside because they see them in the picture. Like I've gotten messages,
They think they're the city,
yeah,
So
so
that-
that could be.
Although they
Because
said they
it's
called it
happened to
the
us,
city.
or like we'll get, I know like Miss Sunnyside, they'll get kind of invitations from people, or they'll say, hey, we want to do come to our grand opening, but they haven't really gone, it's not through the city, they're just somebody, a business, and they want to invite the girls. or something. So that could have, might have happened, but I don't know.
It was just a good opportunity to catch it.
Okay,
What
what,
did it just happen?
I just have, this is a real quick fix. Martin, you and I, pick a date, let's go welcome him.
No, I'm gonna go over there after this.
I've already done it.
Yeah,
I have
I'm gonna,
this.
I'm
But
gonna
you know
go
what
over
I'm
there.
saying?
Oh, yeah, I always go to all these.
Yeah, I do too, and say, you guys, when is your grand opening?
Yes.
And
Do you
that's
know
why
who to
I
get a
got
hold of?
this, because I get.
It's a great
people
idea.
Don't know who I am. I'm
That's
gone.
why-
Here's your order.
That's why we, as a council and you, because nobody knows that the mayor is the mayor.
Right.
Nobody
I
knows
still know.
us. When we go to events, we need shirts that say, guess who I am?
That's what I told them. I said, you need a shirt.
And we
I have
need
a
to,
city of Sunnyside shirt.
well, so do I,
I do
but I
too.
don't work for the city anymore.
Well,
No,
but I haven't, I ordered,
All right,
brand new.
okay, let's bring in way off track.
I've got it.
We'll come back around to that, okay? Let's
But
go
I
ahead.
did, you guys have name tags coming, but the lock shop made them wrong. So we had to reorder them.
So.
Okay.
when are we
But you
meeting
do,
to
I've got an
schedule
email.
it? Okay, I know that you're busy,
I think-
but you know, I just hate this
You
one
want
a year.
Okay.
Well, no, like, when we, because I know a lot of people
Okay.
don't get directions, and people be like,
That's
they're not
tough.
the city, you can't come. with it."
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'll give you a t-shirt. I've got them all outside my office.
Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can wrap this up now, because I think we still have a couple of things here, and it's all getting past, closer to two than one. Thank you. So I think this, the budget funding plan that established a 5-year plan, let's put that 5-year, add that to 5-year vision. Or what was that word we were
Yeah.
using before?
Vision plan.
Vision plan, you know, because it's not just funding, we want to have a vision,
Funding
So
and
it's-
vision.
yeah. So we can look at it every year and see where we're going next, okay?
Just
Does that make sense?
It's the
We need to have a long-term plan.
We
Yeah.
need to have a
Short-term plan.
long-term plan, and 5 years is a good way to look
It
out.
is.
We can, marketing people do this all the time, so we can do that. All right, so is there anything else that we want to use for our action plan, other than, do we want to commit to an actual meeting day and time?
Well, you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I don't like this, because the most effective LTAC committee I'm on is City of Union Gas. They meet once a month. And they meet hell or high water. We come together. They said, let's pass. I said, no, I'm willing us to drive the furthest, and the reason we are effective is we come together and we communicate frequently.
Yeah.
If we want to move Sunnyside forward, we have to come together and communicate frequently. And give people
Think of what we
opportunities.
just learned today, that we actually have somebody at the park that's working on some of the stuff we're talking about now. And I mean, and we wouldn't have had that if we didn't have the meeting. So
It's hard. It's,
Hey, now the surprise.
Those are signature ones.
those are awesome.
I wore that when I went to
There you
Leavenworth.
Yeah, so I have some for all of you who want one.
Although it's not my.
No.
Okay,
I took them to National Night Out and gave them to all the volunteers that were at the last one, so that they could have kind of a sense of pride. And a lot of them put them on right then,
I do.
like they put them on. And then these actually, we can give these away.
you know,
So,
it is good to see you in this. You have some energy for the city of Sunnyside.
Well, yeah.
I've gone to a
Synergy.
lot of city managers.
Synergy.
Right.
A lot of synergy here.
well,
let's-
and I want Sunnyside to be all over the state with this on the back. So people say, hey, you're from Sunnyside, when is
We
it?
know what goes on.
Talk to us, talk to us.
Well, anyway,
Okay, so do we want to meet once a month? I mean, typically we only meet because
There's our RFP.
there's an RFP. But this is,
this pressure.
but we're-
You,
You'll have to meet again, because you want to review 509 insanity.
Yes.
So,
and we still
And
have,
we gave them 2 weeks,
we
right?
gave them 2
let's
weeks.
do next week, yeah.
And is that enough time then for some site or Yakima tourism as well?
I think.
better be.
Do you guys want to meet on the 28th or the 23rd?
I don't think the Yakima tourism, I don't think we gave them a deadline of when. She said she was
We
gonna
can
try
get
to get it
But
that week.
we could though, if you
Well-
just want to say we're meeting on this date, ask
Can-
if they please try to
yes.
get us information by then.
Yeah.
Because we'd like to finish.
I'm
this
sure
up
they
every
would,
year,
they would do
because we
that.
still got to take it to the city council.
And then by then you would know what council approved on the
Right.
12th from those other ones. And if they asked for any of them to be reconsidered, then you would have it by then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm free on the 28th works for me. I'm on vacation before that.
Wednesdays work best.
I think Wednesdays. How about you, Tom?
Yeah.
It's gonna be hit and miss. Because I am often out of town on Wednesday. This, on the 21st, that doesn't work for me. I'm gonna be at a lightweight concrete floor. I don't know if you've ever done one of those. But, well, you put 3/4 of an inch or an inch of lightweight concrete on a new floor. And that gives you a nice sound barrier as well as some insulation. However, when the framer's frame, there's cracks and things like that, and when you put that stuff down it. So you run around with insulation stuffing in the cracks. And like
Is it a
Sure.
contest?
no, this is a 30,000 square foot building we're building on a crosser. So that day, the 21st, I am not available,
Okay,
I
that's
guarantee.
really
The 28th, I'll be around.
September 28th.
Yeah, 28th, I can make. it.
Okay.
Is 11 still working for everybody?
It kind of breaks up the day. If you guys wanted to go later in the day, that would be better. If you guys wanted to go earlier in the day, but I'm committed to this. I want to see this go. So I want to meet at 11. I'll be at 11.
Earlier is fine, just I can't do later. Is the issue.
Yeah, I
it's
can't
school.
do. Early's tough for me.
Okay.
Hard for my body to literally move.
So do it at
Until
11.
I get some. I can do a little earlier, absolutely. It's not a 7.
Oh,
No,
no, because I
yeah, I
have
wasn't
kids.
like that. I was
Taking
thinking
kids
like,
to school.
I was thinking like
After.
I
Okay.
could definitely.
Let's do 10 and then that way.
We commit to keeping it to 2 hours.
No, I think
Yeah.
they will.
I think.
And I think
we'll-
a bit
When we
I
have
think
more,
we'll get
like,
shorter.
yeah, have more often. I think we can more so long because
Things
we
pile up.
we never
Things
get
pile up.
to have
So are we meeting at 11 and 28?
10.
10. Good minutes.
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
Where
that we were
do you
in
want to
accordance.
meet, or will you let us know?
Yeah, we can do it at the fire station again.
Is that conducive?
You're welcome to do it here. I have no problems anytime. So just know that. I apologize for Minnie. That was unusual.
Hey, listen, it's like having a doorbell.
Hmm?
An organic.
She's fine. I
doorbell.
was saying the mini.
They let us know you were all here.
That's right.
So
I have 5 of them in my house that's out.
At the city, is it at the city?
we could do it there we could do it at City Hall since it's just a small group of us, or we can do it at the fire station.
What's most convenient for you? Because you're the
Either way.
one that has to go back to your city job.
How about, as long as we're looking at different facilities, we now have the tour here, and we now know what's available here.
To go to different places to
How
go.
about the next one? Let's look at a city facility. Why don't we check out the community center? When was the last time we'd had a meeting up there?
In a while.
So let's,
And say that we're here.
yeah,
Check
let's go out there and take a look, and then Mary can give us a tour.
And maybe any business that has a meeting room, start using them and start that pride and encouragement.
Laura Valley Credit Union, well, it's not Laura Valley Credit Union, but they have a meeting.
Meeting room.
I know Pastor Bob lets you use his.
Fellowship Hall.
When you do that,
I need
I
any suggestions.
Ask Pastor Bob, he's really good. Cause it's open and then you just have to put the tables, and a couple of chairs.
Let's.
Pizza or
I think we
hash
had- Yeah, I think we should have a meeting room. there.
If you think every minute, we should take a different place.
I think we should,
The community center, the 28th at 10.
I think the community center is a good place to do our next time.
Yeah, that's probably.
So we
That's all
should see, we
Okay.
see the 509 Insanity
At that one.
at
But
that
that-
meeting. We should see something from National Valley Tourism at that meeting.
Right,
And we can continue to outline the
The vision.
vision.
our vision.
So I'll just put strategic planning and
Yeah.
vision continued.
Mhm.
Okay.
So do we need a motion for the changes that we made though? Do we decide on that?
I did have a question on the last one. Am I adding it on to the action items about the TPA, establish a TPA?
That's
Or was
part
that
of-
just like a note on the
That's,
side?
I think that's an action item for us.
Okay, so
We can
action.
change it to say incorporate a T, now say it, that we're gonna incorporate a,
Establish.
it's.
Okay,
exactly.
establish a
So I
TPA.
think
Okay, there
that's
we
an
go.
action. Definitely one that we should establish at tourism promotion area and implement it ASAP.
Really quick, can we put something in the electric bill flyer?
Not the electric bill, but we could utility bill the cost about $800 every time you do it.
Oh.
So I'm gonna send this over to all of you.
As a press release.
Yeah. But you're
And the
gonna get
radio
more bang for your buck on the utility bill, and you guys can advertise. I mean,
Yeah.
You're,
That
that
is
is,
good use of funds.
yeah,
Okay.
that's something that you need.
Okay. All right, so we got a next meeting. Okay, do we need to make any, let's see,
We do need to make, because we made changes to the thing.
So do we want to wait until we have? Do we need to make a motion to make these changes today? Or do we want to see the final copy before we make?
Well, you guys are still gonna work on the next one, right?
Yeah. So I don't know that, do we want to just, do we want to make a motion to approve the ones that we've made today? It's up to you
Yeah,
guys.
well, because we were going to, we were gonna send it to the council as a recommendation for the signature event. Or we were just changing. Because the contract actually with, I mean, it's with the city, isn't it?
The
So,
contract?
yeah,
Recommendations.
yeah, so that was the question. I know we changed in the philosophy, a couple of words to include that,
Do we need
but
to?
I don't know if it's something,
I don't know that we're ready to send it to the
okay, that's
council.
what I was.
I don't think that we are. That's
Then we
what I
wait
want
next
to make sure that we can put the items that we want to change in red.
Yeah.
So that the council can see what it is, what our plan is. Make it easier for them if we put it in a color. I think then the proposals received. The one on the, I think we've already decided what we're going to do about the museum fencing, did we not?
Yep, nothing, can't do it.
Okay, so we don't, so that item.
We have to get a hold of the railroad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
without
so-
objection, you're denying that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other ones that we approved of at our last meeting, we did make a recommendation to the council, the ones that we've already approved. We can send those to the next
Yeah,
council.
they're
And
set
they're
to
ready to
go,
go.
yeah.
Okay, so then,
So just quickly, I might ask, the last meeting, there was something like $35,000 worth of
is that what we
recommendations
had? Yeah,
to the council.
I think
Let me
that's right.
see.
No, it's a
And
little bit more. than
Yeah, it was more than that.
Yeah.
I thought it was something like 100.
It was a lot. Yeah, we spent almost all the money. I think it was more like 100.
So that's where you're at right now, that you,
That's what we've spent.
proposals you recommended.
It was 101 file.
And we started with close to $200,000 in our fund,
198 in the fund, I think.
and we don't have all of 2022 LTAC receipts. You're
Right,
expecting another 40 or something like
So
that.
we're leaving some room for that.
some room for strategic planning.
So there's, in my mind, there's about $120,000 that's still in there, which is, I think,
Okay,
you're gonna see a wall of a proposal from the Valley Treasury.
Yeah.
we know that they're gonna come back with a huge one. We have to decide whether we want
You
to
want
accept it.
itemized.
Yeah.
We want it itemized.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. Okay, so we still need a budget from N five.
509.
509.
Well, Yakima Valley Tourism, if they bring it in, and then continued strategic planning and vision.
Right.
They haven't even had a meeting yet, so they may not be able to do it.
Ooh,
509?
509.
that's not a problem.
It isn't, but it's,
A budget's what we want.
Well, their events are the kind of thing that we want.
I know, that's why we're giving them the
So-
extra time.
And that's why we're giving them a little leeway. We
Yeah,
want-
but I mean, as a
We want it.
business, like, you can be able to pull out a budget.
I can pull one out of this out of my ear. if we need one.
Yeah.
But,
It just takes one of them, just put it together and
Yeah.
then.
who's their trade? I mean, really decide. Okay, if there's no further business to come before us, we can count this meeting adjourned. All right.